welcome back to World Youth Day Central. Today, the youth of the world welcomed Pope Francis to their celebration, and Pope Francis in turn invited them to celebrate. Now, it all began at the residence of the Archbishop of Krakow. That is where Pope Francis is staying in the city. He was given the keys to the city and then boarded a special eco-friendly tram along with a group of disabled young people. They rode together to Buonia Park, where an estimated 300,000 pilgrims and bishops were waiting for the Holy Father. The flags of the world were brought to the stage, representing the fact that young people have come to Krakow from all the ends of the earth. Each continent presented the saint they chose as an example of mercy, and then the Liturgy of the Word got underway with a unique introduction from a litany of saints. 9 young saints were chosen to represent young people throughout the ages and to show that youth are also called to be holy. Now, the Gospel reading recounted the story of Mary and Martha, and in his homily, Pope Francis asked young people, what kind of a life do you want? Do you want a life that is full and complete? He said in his years as a bishop, he learned that one of the most beautiful things in life is seeing young people talk about their dreams and hopes. He said youth should stand forcefully against those who say things cannot be different. He also said that the invitation to gather in Krakow came not from him or from John Paul II, but from Jesus. Let yourselves be moved, he said, explaining that joy is a seed from which everything else grows. Mercy makes room in our hearts to reach out to others and accompany those in need, but the first step is to feel the joy of our faith and friendship with Jesus. Now, earlier in the day, Pope Francis visited the monastery of Jasna Gora in Częstochowa, where he celebrated Mass for the 1050th anniversary of the baptism of Poland. During the Mass, the Pope missed a step on the altar and took a bit of a tumble, but it was just that, a missed step. So he got right back up again and continued without any problems. Now, the full text of the Pope's homily in Częstochowa is available on our blog, saltandlighttv.org/blog. While Pope Francis was visiting Częstochowa, World Youth Day pilgrims were attending the second catechesis session. Today, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle gave catechesis at the Mercy Center, an English language hub for pilgrims. Here's some of what he had to say.
The lost sheep. Why will the sheep get lost? According to some scholars, a lost sheep could either be wounded or sick or plainly dumb. The 99 are going that way, you go this way. Well, you are dumb. I guess all of us here could recall an instance in our lives where we could say, I am that lost sheep. But if you are lost, you would want to be found. But how come the theme tells us it is possible that even if you're lost, you would not welcome the one who tries to find you? My dear young people, today we are being invited, with the help of God's grace, to open ourselves to be touched by God's mercy, and not to be afraid to open ourselves, for the one who comes to touch us is a merciful God.
Now, Cardinal Tagle has been getting some attention because he has been wearing his yellow pilgrim backpack everywhere he goes, and he has one because he's actually a registered pilgrim. And speaking of pilgrim packs, our team did their own investigation into the content of those backpacks.
Everybody knows that World Youth Day is an incredibly diverse event. It brings together young people from all over the world. But the one thing that they all have in common when they get here is they receive a trusty World Youth Day pack. That's right, the official World Youth Day backpack, Krakow 2016. Mine looks like this. It's blue. It also comes in a nice yellow, a flashy green. Everybody loves them. And I had a chance to speak to some of the pilgrims about what they found in their pack and what they would like to see in future packs. When you first opened your pack, what did you think?
I thought it was a pretty cool pack. I like yellow, so yellow is great.
If you could have one thing in your World Youth Day pilgrim pack to carry around with you for the week, what would you choose?
A water bottle.
Holy Father, what did you think of the World Youth Day pack? What about you?
Maybe like beef jerky. I don't know.
That's a World Youth Day. That's a World Youth Day we can get on board with.
A poncho, of course, in case it rains.
That's an absolute necessity.
I really like the headband bandana thing.
That's like a staple of World Youth Day. That's
World
key.
Youth Day, yes.
All right, and if you could have anything, one thing, in your pack for the entire World Youth Day experience, what would you take with you?
A whole bag of water.
Everybody keeps saying water. Definitely water.
Definitely water.
No spiritual nourishment. Anybody else? What would you bring in your pack?
After that, I feel like I should say
Hey.
rosary, but
You don't talk much, do you? This is the official 2016 Krakow World Youth Day pack that each of the pilgrims get when they register. Emily, your initial impressions of the pack aesthetically.
I like the color.
Yes?
I think that there are enough pockets as well. I mean, if you have a water bottle, I'm putting my cell phone in one of these pockets. And you also have one of these.
A front pocket
There's a
with
front pocket for easy access.
There you go.
And the great thing is, not that pilgrims will need this, but there's a laptop pouch inside.
Look at that. Okay, let's dig into this and see
Sure,
what we
sure,
got
sure.
here. First here.
First thing here, prayer book. Probably the most essential book that you'll have in here.
Official prayer book goes through
Official
all the
prayer-
liturgies.
You have, all the masses.
Way of the Cross, the
This one
Vigil,
of-
the opening Mass.
Yes, this of course is the English version of it.
Of course. All right, next. Jesus Trusts in You, an extraordinary book on divine mercy. Mercy obviously being the main theme of this World Youth Day. The city of Sister Faustina, the city of John Paul II, the city of divine mercy, and Francis, obviously, the Pope of Mercy, coming here. So an overload of mercy, but this is, to be honest, I haven't read it. Have you read it?
I haven't read it.
You haven't done your homework.
I did my research before.
All right,
Okay,
next.
next. We have the Pilgrim Guide.
Very important.
Okay, so this is kind of like an overview of everything World Youth Day. So we have the program in here, all the places,
Places
that
you must see,
that you
places
must
that
see.
how you can get there.
I mean, if you
Some
wanna-
good- even pictures.
Even pictures,
In
yeah. I mean,
color.
look at this. This is beautiful.
All right, here we go.
Yeah,
What's next? This.
Ah, yes.
What is this?
I'll let you open it.
Hey, it's a scarf towel.
But turn it around. Turn it around.
There we go.
Look at that.
All right, look at this. Amazing Poland. It is a scarf.
These are actually the graphics that you find like everywhere.
The official
right?
graphics of World Youth Day.
Yeah.
So here we go. What's next?
Okay. Here. Yes. I've seen quite a few pilgrims wear these already. So this is actually really useful. So when you're cold, you can just, put it around your neck like that. Maybe keep yourself warm at night.
Or to look
something.
like a horrifying person walking down the street. That's really
Or-
scary.
I know that most people have been wearing it over their heads like a sweatband, I guess.
That's right.
Which is very necessary.
It's true. Okay.
Yeah.
A map. A city
Yes.
map. Now, this is
Yes.
really cool because Krakow is a really cool city. It's an actual physical map in case you're not using your phone of the downtown area, telling you where the food is, where all the main sites are. Very important, very handy.
Okay.
This thing,
Oh,
take it out.
Sebastian.
Take it out.
This is definitely going to come in handy. Yeah,
Staple of World Youth Days.
Yep.
The poncho.
The poncho.
And because you took it out, you got to put it on.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Okay.
Give them the whole thing. Look at this.
Ah, yes. Now this, ladies and gentlemen,
Apart from
is what World Youth Day is all about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
can
get
I
this
take
obvious.
off
So
now?
yes,
Okay.
before you sweat to death.
Yeah. Okay.
And finally, but surely not least, that little gel pack that they tell you not to eat that comes in every new item. We'll leave it in there just to keep everything sanitary. So there you have it. The World Youth Day Pack 2016. really a really cool part of the
Yes.
World Youth Day. I think I still have
Easily identifiable
two
as
or
well.
three of them from
Everyone-
previous World
Yeah.
Youth Days. I know we got them all at Salt and Light. This one I'm taking back for our archive.
Mercy is, of course, the central theme of this World Youth Day, this year in the life of the Church and Pope Francis's pontificate. Well, Sebastian has a look at how mercy has been a thread connecting the pontificates of Pope John Paul II and Pope Francis. But first, let's meet some of the pilgrims taking over Krakow.
Oh, I love it. It's energy, and young people are just coming saying hello. Sometimes, young people are not really keen to see the bishop, but this is kind of, they
You
want
guys
to
are
take
celebrities here.
Yeah, they want to take a picture with me, and it's just joy.
The atmosphere here has been incredible. I've never seen so much Catholic youth being joyful.
We were kind of scattered around a little bit in the diocese, and now our whole group is together that we traveled to Poland with. I'm just looking forward to spending time with them and with other cultures here.
It's my expectation for the Youth Day that the people will see the God in more clear way, and then they will come closer to Him.
What has been either a highlight or something that's that's really marked you so far?
Okay, so
This is really exciting. Your face is just lit up so much. So I'm really excited to hear what you have.
so I feel like it might be similar for all of us. So yesterday was the Matt Maher Audrey Assad concert, and oh my gosh, it was the most incredible thing I had ever been to. It was the way they brought us up our spirits. We were singing, but we weren't singing, we were praising. Like everyone around us had their hands up in the air, surrendering to our Lord Jesus Christ. It was the most fantastic thing. Half the time we were kneeling for the procession of the Eucharist around the people. It was so great. Me and a friend were sitting there, and we described it as like the holy chills just shivering down your back as you're singing these songs.
Here with Michael from which parish?
St. Christopher's Parish,
St. Christopher's Parish in?
Mississauga.
Representing the 416. Are you guys still 416 area code?
No, we're 647.
Oh boy, well this interview is over. No, I'm just kidding. So, no, tell me, what pilgrimage so far? You guys made it all the way from Mississauga. What's it been like for you and the group?
Honestly, it's been a really good experience. We've had lots of fun. We visited so many of the great tourism places here. I can't wait to see what else we have in store for this trip.
We have almost 200 people coming from Diocese of London, so I am very proud to say that so many young people are coming, celebrate with us. And of course, I want to wish you also many blessings as you'll be watching probably celebration and following them. So, szczęść Boże.
Thanks a lot, Bishop. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you.
Grande è la misericordia del Signore, dice il Salmo. In questi giorni ho potuto leggere un libro di un cardinale, il cardinale Casper, un teologo in gamba, un buon teologo, sulla misericordia. E mi ha fatto tanto bene quel libro, ma non credete che faccio pubblicità ai libri dei miei cardinali, Non è così. Ma mi ha fatto tanto bene. Il cardinale Casper diceva che sentire misericordia, questa parola, cambia tutto. È il meglio che noi possiamo sentire. Cambia il mondo. Un po' di misericordia rende il mondo meno freddo e più giusto.
Since the election of Pope Francis, mercy has become one of the most discussed and debated topics in the Church. It's always been understood as a defining attribute of God in the Judeo-Christian tradition. But today, mercy is taking on a more practical meaning in the ministry of Pope Francis. He preaches mercy so often, not only in words but in actions, that it can be alarming and even seems like something totally new. But is it really? For a church with a long tradition, Catholics sometimes have a short memory.
I think John Paul II had a very deep experience of all the suffering in our world in the 20th century. He grew up in Poland during the Nazi time, during the Second World War, during the time of Shoah, and then the communist period, and he knew what sufferings are there, and this was the root from where he spoke about mercy, and he discovered especially his sister Faustina Kowalska, who had this vision about mystical experience about mercy. He made her a saint. It was the first canonization of the Jubilee year 2000, and therefore it has a symbolic meaning, this canonization of John Paul II. And so Pope Francis is in the line with all his predecessors, with Pope John XXIII, Pope Paul VI, Pope John Paul II, and now Benedict, first encyclical about God is love. So it's a very important continuity here in the post-conciliar church.
The post-conciliar church refers to the past 50 years since the Second Vatican Council, when a great paradigm shift had occurred. It all started with another pope, the affable and jovial John XXIII.
He wanted the council to show the church to be the loving mother of all, benign, patient, full of mercy and goodness.
Gaudet Mater Ecclesia.
In every age, the church opposes errors, John said in his opening address to the council on October 11, 1962. But today, he argued, the church prefers to make use of the medicine of mercy rather than that of severity. And to the surprise of many, the council followed suit in the language and tone of its 16 official declarations. That internal shift to an attitude of mercy had an enormous impact on Bishop Karol Wojtyła of Krakow, who was eventually elected pope in 1978. Just 2 years later, the new pope issued an encyclical on God's mercy.
The church today is profoundly conscious that only on the basis of the mercy of God will she be able to carry out the tasks that derive from the teaching of the Second Vatican Council. The Church lives an authentic life when she professes and proclaims mercy, the most stupendous attribute of the Creator and of the Redeemer, and when she brings people close to the sources of the Savior's mercy.
John Paul's understanding of mercy had been strongly influenced by the life and personal diary of a young Polish nun named Faustina Kowalska. Jesus had appeared to Faustina on numerous occasions in the 1930s, asking her to make known his divine mercy to the world. That message resonated strongly with John Paul, who promoted Faustina and the message of divine mercy throughout his pontificate, and canonized her as the first saint of the new millennium.
You, Faustina, a gift of God to our time, a gift from the land of Poland to the whole Church, obtain for us an awareness of the depth of divine mercy. Help us to have a living experience of it and to bear witness to it among our brothers and sisters.
Vivir supone ensuciarse los pies.
Life means getting our feet dirty. from the dust-filled roads of life and history. All of us need to be cleansed, to be washed, all of us, and me in first place. All of us are being sought out by the teacher who wants to help us resume our journey. The Lord goes in search of us. To all of us, he stretches out a helping hand.
Señor, para darnos su mano.
Like his predecessor, Pope Francis has put mercy at the center of his ministry. For him, it's not enough to talk about mercy or promote a devotion to the divine mercy. It's about accompanying people through the difficult and complex experiences of everyday life, through their joys and hopes, griefs and anxieties. Realities, as Francis often says, are more important than ideas.
Alcune volte io ho parlato della Chiesa come ospedale di campo. È vero, quanti feriti ci sono, quanti feriti, quanta gente che ha bisogno che le sue ferite siano guarite. Questa è la missione della Chiesa, guarire le ferite del cuore, aprire porte, liberare, dire che Dio è buono, che Dio perdona tutto, che Dio è Padre, che Dio è tenero, che Dio ci aspetta sempre.
I believe there are much more open and honest discussions because of what the Holy Father said last year and this year. He's given people the opportunity, and I think his example, it's very clear that he totally trusts in the work of the Holy Spirit and expects us to do the same.
Another distinction upon which we have relied very heavily and that no longer communicates is the distinction between public and private. In other words, the truth in public and mercy in private, that the compassion of the confessional tempers the clarity of the pulpit. That I think what we need now, and this is what I'd like to see emerge from this synod, are public enactments of mercy, not just doing mercy in private behind closed doors or in a confessional. And it's the sort of public enactment of mercy that we see, I think, in Pope Francis, who's in a sense modelling what I think the whole Church has to ponder. But when you've been used to centuries of thinking about mercy in private, truth in public, it's not always easy to even imagine what the public enactment of mercy might look like. And when you do see it, it can even be unsettling. So the fact that these grand old distinctions no longer communicate, which is what I mean when I say they don't work, can in fact be unsettling. But again, a pastoral approach is relentlessly geared to the facts. Otherwise, we indulge in this discourse, which is beautiful in itself, self-contained, but does not put down roots in the soil of human experience.
The Synod of Bishops on the Family gave the Church an opportunity to reflect on what a merciful pastoral approach looks like in the face of concrete family challenges. Determined that this approach sink into the Catholic psyche, Pope Francis opened a worldwide Jubilee Year of Mercy a few weeks later.
Questo giubileo, insomma, è un momento privilegiato perché la Chiesa impari a scegliere unicamente ciò che a Dio piace di più. E che cosa è che a Dio piace di più? Perdonare i suoi figli, aver misericordia di loro, affinché anch'essi possano a loro volta perdonare i fratelli, risplendendo come fiaccole della misericordia di Dio nel mondo. Questo è quello che a Dio piace di più.
In an official message issued for the Jubilee Year of Mercy, Francis boldly restated the Church's mission to proclaim the mercy of God.
Mercy is the very foundation of the Church's life. All of her pastoral activity should be caught up in the tenderness she makes present to believers. Nothing in her preaching and in her witness to the world can be lacking in mercy. The Church's very credibility is seen in how she shows merciful and compassionate love.
Francis's official message for the Year of Mercy struck a chord. He quoted John Paul's encyclical, implored St. Faustina's intercession, and praised the Second Vatican Council for recognizing 50 years ago that the Church's language and pastoral outreach had to become more merciful if it was to be faithful to Christ and to reach people today.
The walls which for too long had made the Church a kind of fortress were torn down, and the time had come to proclaim the gospel in a new way. It was a new phase of the same evangelization that had existed from the beginning.
I've studied the Second Vatican Council. I've written about it. I mean, I kind of got dragged into it at first, but then and became a great fan of it. I thought it was really just what the Church needed. It was kind of getting the Church back to its a whole other level, a deeper level, a more authentic level. And I just see Francis as carrying that forward.
Much has changed over the past 50 years in the Church and in the world. But the 6 bishops who in that time have occupied the chair of St. Peter have shown a remarkable continuity in preaching mercy, the most important message of Jesus and the very identity of God.
It's a good news, it's a gospel message, a good news for everybody, and I think the Church has to give witness of this good news, not of commandments only, but God is for you. God says yes to you in every situation.
The highly anticipated World Youth Day in Krakow, Poland, is one of the most concrete expressions of mercy in continuity, a celebration of faith in the city of mercy, the city of St. Faustina and St. John Paul II, the city that welcomes Francis, the Pope of Mercy, the city that brings together young people from around the world torn apart by hatred and indifference to say to that world, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy."
I want to be completely transformed into your mercy and to be your living reflection, O Lord. May the greatest of all divine attributes, that of your unfathomable mercy, pass through my heart and soul to my neighbor. Help me, O Lord, that my eyes may be merciful, so that I may never suspect or judge from appearances, but look for what is beautiful in my neighbor's souls and come to their rescue. O my Jesus, transform me into yourself, for you can do all things.
That's all for World Youth Day Central. Now tomorrow we have live coverage of the Pope's visit to Auschwitz and Birkenau. That's at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then at 12 p.m. we bring you the Way of the Cross from Buono Park with Pope Francis. Of course, join us again tomorrow for another edition of World Youth Day Central. From everyone here, thanks for watching. See you next time.